Wealth is built by habits, not luck or quick wins. Most people spend their lives waiting for a lucky break. They believe money comes from one big opportunity, one perfect investment, or one dramatic change in circumstances. That belief is comforting because it removes responsibility. If wealth depends on luck, then failure isn't your fault. But the truth is far less exciting and far more powerful. Wealth is the result of habits practiced daily, quietly, and often boringly over a long period of time. Luck can give you money once, but habits decide whether that money stays or disappears. I've seen people inherit large sums and lose it all within a few years because their spending habits never changed. I've also seen people who started with nothing steadily build security simply by repeating the same smart behaviors year after year. The market rewards consistency, not excitement. Your daily decisions matter more than your big ideas. What you do with the first dollar you earn matters. Do you spend it immediately to feel good, or do you delay gratification and give that dollar a job? Habits are powerful because they work even when motivation fades. You won't always feel inspired to save, invest, or learn, but habits don't rely on feelings. They rely on structure and discipline. Quick wins are seductive. They promise speed, status, and the illusion of intelligence. But fast money usually comes with fast stress, fast mistakes, and fast losses. When people chase shortcuts, they often ignore risk. They borrow too much, speculate too aggressively, and panic when things don't go their way. Habits, on the other hand, protect you from your own emotions. A habit of saving a fixed percentage of income doesn't care whether the market is exciting or boring. A habit of long-term investing doesn't panic when headlines scream fear. Spending habits are just as important as investing habits. You don't build wealth by earning more alone. You build it by controlling lifestyle inflation. As income rises, expenses naturally try to rise with it. If you don't actively resist that pull, you'll always feel broke no matter how much you earn. A habit of living below your means creates margin, and margin is where wealth grows. Another critical habit is patience. Compounding is slow at first, almost invisible. In the early years, progress feels disappointing. This is where most people quit. They assume something isn't working because results aren't immediate. But compounding rewards those who stay when nothing exciting is happening. The habit of staying invested, staying consistent, and staying calm is more valuable than high intelligence or perfect timing. Learning is also a habit. Financial success doesn't require genius, but it does require curiosity. Reading, observing, asking questions, and improving your judgment over time all add up. If you make learning automatic just a little every day, you reduce the chances of repeating expensive mistakes. Knowledge compounds just like money. Habits don't change overnight. They change through small, repeatable actions. Saving a little more, spending a little less, waiting a little longer before making decisions. Over time, these small actions create a gap between where you are and where most people end up. That gap is called financial independence. If you are 40 or 50 and feel behind, the most important thing to understand is this: habits work regardless of age. You may not control how early you started, but you fully control what you repeat from this point forward. Change the habits and the direction changes. Keep the habits and time will do the rest. Time, discipline, and patience matter more than income level. Many people believe their financial problems would disappear if they simply earned more money. While higher income can help, it is not the deciding factor in long-term wealth. I have seen individuals with modest salaries quietly build strong financial foundations, and I have seen high earners struggle endlessly. The difference is rarely income. It is how time is used, how discipline is practiced, and how patient a person can remain when results are slow. Time is the most underestimated asset in building wealth. Money can be lost and regained, but time only moves in one direction. When money is invested wisely, time does most of the heavy lifting. Compounding is not dramatic, and that is why people ignore it. In the beginning, progress feels insignificant. Small savings don't look impressive, and early investment returns seem almost disappointing. But as time passes, growth accelerates. What matters is not how fast you start, but how long you stay consistent. Discipline is what allows time to work in your favor. Without discipline, time actually becomes your enemy. Years pass, opportunities slip by, and habits solidify in the wrong direction. Discipline is choosing long-term benefit over short-term comfort. It is saving when it would be easier to spend. It is staying invested when fear dominates the headlines. Discipline removes emotion from decision-making and replaces it with structure. People often confuse discipline with restriction, but true discipline creates freedom. When you consistently control your spending, you reduce financial stress. When you consistently invest, you reduce dependence on future income. Discipline is not about deprivation, it is about alignment. Your daily actions must align with the future you claim to want. Without that alignment, even a high income becomes meaningless. Patience is the partner of discipline. Without patience, discipline collapses. The market does not reward urgency. Businesses do not grow on demand. Wealth does not respond to desperation. Patience allows you to sit through periods of boredom, uncertainty, and temporary losses without abandoning your plan. It is the ability to do nothing when doing nothing is the smartest choice. Most financial mistakes happen when patience runs out. People sell when they should hold. They chase trends when they should wait. They change strategies constantly because they want faster results. Impatience leads to overtrading, excessive risk, and emotional decisions. Those behaviors destroy returns far more effectively than a low income ever could. Income level often creates a false sense of security. When money comes in easily, discipline feels optional. Spending increases, savings become irregular, and investments are treated casually. Over time, this creates fragility. A job loss, market downturn, or unexpected expense can undo years of earnings. On the other hand, people with lower incomes who practice discipline often build resilience. They plan carefully, avoid unnecessary debt, and respect the value of every dollar. Time also rewards those who recover and continue. You do not need a perfect financial past. You only need a consistent financial present. Missed opportunities cannot be reclaimed, but future ones are always available to those who stay disciplined. The habit of continuing even after mistakes is more powerful than starting early and quitting. Patience also applies to personal growth. Skills compound just like investments. Improving your judgment, communication, and decision-making over time increases your value regardless of age. When income does rise, disciplined and patient individuals know how to use it effectively. They don't rush to change their lifestyle. They allow time to convert income into security. Financial independence is not built by dramatic moves. It is built by letting time pass while discipline stays intact and patience remains unbroken. If you respect time, it will work for you. If you practice discipline, income becomes a tool instead of a trap. If you develop patience, you avoid the mistakes that undo years of effort. Together, these three forces quietly outperform talent, intelligence, and high salaries again and again. Investing in yourself comes before investing in stocks. Before you think about markets, charts, or returns, you need to understand that the most important asset you will ever own is you. Your ability to think clearly, make sound decisions, learn continuously, and control your behavior will determine the outcome of every financial choice you make. Stocks don't decide your future, you do. Many people rush into investing without preparing themselves mentally or emotionally. They open accounts, follow tips, chase trends, and react to noise. When markets rise, they feel smart. When markets fall, they panic. This cycle repeats because they skip the most critical step: building knowledge, judgment, and emotional control. Without those, even the best investment opportunities can turn into losses. Investing in yourself starts with learning how money actually works. Understanding basic principles like compounding, risk, diversification, and long-term thinking protects you from costly mistakes. You don't need advanced mathematics or insider information. You need clarity. Clarity allows you to ignore distractions and focus on what truly matters. The more you understand, the less likely you are to act out of fear or greed. Skills are another form of self-investment, and they often deliver higher returns than any stock ever could. Improving your professional skills increases your earning power, and earning power fuels every other financial decision. A higher income, when paired with discipline, creates flexibility. It allows you to save more, invest more, and recover faster from mistakes. No stock can replace that foundation. Your mindset is just as important as your skill set. Markets test emotions constantly. Prices move. Headlines shout, and opinions change daily. If you haven't invested in patience, humility, and self-awareness, you will be vulnerable. Emotional decisions are expensive. The ability to remain calm when others are fearful is not a personality trait. It is a trained behavior developed over time. Health is an often overlooked investment, but it directly affects wealth. Poor health limits energy, focus, and productivity. Medical expenses can erase years of savings. Taking care of your body and mind improves decision-making and longevity, both of which are essential for long-term financial success. A longer, healthier life gives compounding more time to work. Confidence also comes from self-investment. When you understand what you own and why you own it, you are less likely to follow the crowd. You don't need constant reassurance or validation. This independence of thought is rare, and it is valuable. Most people lose money not because they were wrong, but because they couldn't stay committed to a sound plan. Reading is one of the simplest and most effective ways to invest in yourself. Books allow you to learn from decades of experience without paying the price of those mistakes yourself. A few pages a day, consistently, can dramatically change how you think about risk, opportunity, and patience. Knowledge compounds quietly, just like money. Self-investment also means knowing your limits. You don't need to understand everything. You need to understand what you are good at and where you should stay cautious. This awareness keeps you within your circle of competence. Staying within that circle doesn't limit growth, it protects it. Once you invest in yourself, investing in stocks becomes simpler, not easier, but clearer. You stop looking for excitement and start looking for durability. You stop reacting and start planning. Markets will always fluctuate, but a well-developed individual can navigate those fluctuations without losing direction. If you are 40 or 50 and feel behind, this principle matters even more. Money can be rebuilt, but poor judgment repeated will always hold you back. Strengthen the person making the decisions, and every investment that follows has a better chance of succeeding. Simplicity and consistency beat complexity every time. Most people believe successful investing must be complicated. They think it requires constant action, advanced strategies, and deep technical knowledge. This belief leads them to overanalyze, overtrade, and overwhelm themselves with information that adds little value. In reality, complexity often creates confusion, and confusion leads to mistakes. The more moving parts a system has, the more opportunities there are for failure. Simple ideas are powerful because they are repeatable. When a strategy is easy to understand, it is easier to follow during stressful moments. Complexity looks impressive on paper, but it rarely holds up when emotions enter the picture. Markets test discipline, not intelligence. A simple plan followed consistently will outperform a complex plan that is constantly changed. Consistency is what turns small actions into meaningful results. Saving a fixed amount regularly may not feel significant at first, but over time it builds momentum. Investing consistently removes the pressure of timing the market. You stop worrying about short-term movements and start focusing on long-term participation. Consistency reduces regret because you are always moving forward rather than waiting for perfect conditions. Complex strategies often fail because they depend on prediction. They require you to guess what will happen next and act accordingly. Predictions are unreliable, even for experts. A simple approach accepts uncertainty and works around it. Instead of trying to outsmart the market, it aligns with long-term growth and human behavior. Simplicity also protects you from emotional mistakes. When you understand your strategy clearly, you are less likely to abandon it during downturns. Panic often comes from not knowing why you made a decision in the first place. Simple rules provide clarity when fear is loud. They act as anchors when everything else feels unstable. Consistency requires patience, and patience is easier when the process is simple. If your plan demands constant attention, you will eventually burn out or make impulsive changes. A sustainable approach is one you can maintain even when life gets busy or stressful. The best strategy is the one you can stick with for decades, not months. Simplicity extends beyond investing into everyday financial behavior. Managing expenses, avoiding unnecessary debt, and planning for the future do not require complex systems. They require awareness and repetition. Doing a few things well is far more effective than doing many things poorly. People often underestimate how much damage inconsistency causes. Starting and stopping, changing direction, and reacting to noise interrupts compounding. Each time you abandon a plan, you reset progress. Consistency allows time to work uninterrupted, and uninterrupted time is where real growth happens. Simple habits compound just like money. Regular saving, steady investing, and continuous learning reinforce each other. Over time, these habits create confidence and clarity. You begin to trust the process because you see its effects even if they appear slowly. If you focus on simplicity, you reduce stress. If you focus on consistency, you increase results. Together, they form a foundation that does not depend on trends, predictions, or excitement. They rely only on behavior, and behavior is the one variable you can fully control.